In the Netherlands, it rains quite a lot.
Yeah.
And sometimes we just have a few drops. And when a few drops are falling, I don't need to put my raincoat on. But some people, they aren't used to rain and they have putting their hair very beautiful. And then there are a few drops and it's like, stop, stop, stop.
Dear listener, dear viewer, thank you for joining the Boat Bike Tours podcast again. I'm Ennie, your host for this episode, and I usually work in sales and marketing for Boat Bike Tours. And today I have two guests, Esther Nouse, who is a tour guide for Boat Bike Tours, and then we have Jossie Verkerk, who is a sustainability consultant, but she did a lot of other things too for Boat Bike Tours. And I think it's best if you introduce yourselves, because who knows you better than yourselves. So Esther, can we start with you?
Yes, of course. Hello, my name is Esther, and I am a bike tour leader at Boat Bike Tours. It's going to be my 4th season, and I cycle all over the Netherlands. I do the Hanseatic Tour, the Noord route, from Bruges to Amsterdam and the other way around. And it's really lovely to be the whole day on the bicycle with a group of people behind me from all kind of different nationalities.
How did you get to Boat Bike Tours in the first place?
Well, that's actually a funny story because a few years ago I did a 2-leader course. And I had to do an exam, and I had a very professional examinator who is sitting next to me.
I just expected that. It's always Jossie.
Well, I was invited by the company that did the course to join and see if there were people in the group that were maybe tour leaders for Boat Bike Tours, and I picked out a few, and one of them was Esther. So.
I passed my exam, and I had directly a job offer. So that was very nice.
That's great. And now you're here.
Yeah.
And Jossie, can you tell something about yourself?
Yes, of course. Do you want it short or do you want it long?
As long as you want.
No. I'll keep it short. I've been in the bike and barge business for a very long time, about, I think, 30 years, something like that. And the first part of it, I was a barge owner. So I built a couple of barges, rebuilt, sailed as a captain until like 15 years ago, I think. And after that, I met a lot of people on the water during their holiday. And after that, I still had a sort of small booking agency, like a little sister of Boat Bike Tours. But it was quite a lonely way of working. So I decided to talk to Boat Bike Tours. I knew Jan Timmermans and Laurens by then already for a long time. And I asked them if they were interested in buying my little company and offering me a job. So that's what we did. And then I started to work for Boat Bike Tours. And at Boat Bike Tours, I did a lot of different things. Mainly product development, tour leaders. And now I work only 1 day a week because I'm 67. So I'm officially in pension. And now I work only for sustainability and then the technical side of the sustainability. So what can we do about the ships, mainly to make them less pollutive? Is that an English word? Mm-hmm. And so it's really nice to work on that topic just a little bit.
Yeah. Were you always interested in that side?
Yes, I was always interested, and I was also one of the first to take measures on board to make the whole operation more sustainable. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And now you're also in the Greenway Foundation. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, that's a very interesting development as well. Um, Laurens, the owner of Boat Bike Tours, he is also he's very aware of the fact that we have to do something about sustainability and reducing our footprint to stay in business. It's really important in the tourism industry, and. So already a couple of years ago, we started this little group working on sustainability, and he said we have to make a sort of fund to pay for innovative technique. And so what we decided, or he decided, together with all the barge owners that are working for Boat Bike Tours, that we actually raised prices a little bit more than the regular price, so that every person that books with Boat Bike Tours pays a little bit into this fund. And but there are a lot of passengers, so that makes a lot of money in the fund. And then we also decided that this fund had to be handled by a foundation that was not too close connected to Boat Bike Tours. So that's when we founded the Greenway Foundation, and Laurens asked me to be the chairman of the board. So I'm really proud to do that. And I have in the board there are a couple of barge owners. We are still looking for a tour leader to join the foundation, and we make big steps in getting the whole fleet less pollutive.
That's amazing.
Yep.
Great job. But yeah, you did a lot already. But let's go back to the tour guiding topic. So which tours are you doing, Esther?
The tours that I'm doing is mainly in the Netherlands. Last year I went to Denmark and Sweden too. But I'm really Dutch, so I prefer to concentrate myself in the Netherlands and to be able to give my experience and all the knowledge that I have from my country to the guests. My favorite tour is the Hanseatic tour. It's just a very lovely tour, typical Dutch, and a very safe way to cycle. I do the North route too, the north of Holland, North Holland, and I go a lot cycling between Amsterdam and Bruges. It's a very famous tour where a lot of guests signing in. So
also a lot of international guests because that's a premium tour.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
And Jossie, what is your favorite tour?
Ooh, that's difficult. I think my favorite tours are still in France. I also sailed a couple of years in France. And, I think the French culture, where it's not so organized, and I like that a lot. But, but I'm not on the bike all the time, of course. I've always been on the boats. And... but I must say, in all the years, I also biked. I know the tours quite well, also on the bike. But I would say my favorite tour is a tour that we developed not so long ago. That's the tour in Burgundy, northern Burgundy. Yeah, very nice.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And how do you handle different nationalities? I mean, Esther, you said that you like to guide in the Netherlands, but of course, a lot of the guests are not from the Netherlands. Actually, not at all. Many guests are from the Netherlands. So how do you deal with that? How do you deal with different nationalities?
I think that is the thing that I really like about our tours that we have. I had once in my life 2 Dutch people on the tour, and actually that was a very nice addition because he was a farmer. So I could explain things about the Netherlands and farming, cheese making. The Dutch cows, they are very popular and they always come by in my tours. And then it was very nice that we had a farmer, so he could say that I was wrong or right. So I could learn from him too. Um, and yeah, the thing is that people, they are traveling all around the world to visit the Netherlands on the most typical transport that we have in the Netherlands, our bicycles. So I do reckon that they all really would like to learn about our culture, our traditions, and yeah, it doesn't really matter where they're coming from. They are very interested. And the most funny thing that I always find, in the beginning, I studied the whole history of the Netherlands, every village where we pass by. I could tell the church and what year it was built.
Wow.
They were not really interested in that. They saw a tree and they wanted to know what kind of tree it is, or a cow. And I was thinking, well, this is just a typical Dutch black and white cow. I don't know if that has a name. But in their countries, they have different cows. So they want to know what type of cow is that, and how is it that you don't have the cows that we have in our country. So yeah, to be able to talk about that and to exchange the knowledge of different cultures, that is, yeah, what really excites me.
Yeah. So you learn something new probably all the time about what other cultures are interested in.
Exactly, exactly. And that's as well, a lot of people, for example, from the States or from Canada, they are traveling to the Netherlands or to Belgium. And then they say, yeah, my grandfather used to live in this place. Do we buy that, or can we see that? He was a farmer, or he was, I don't know, trading in clothes. But maybe that factory is still there. So is it still over there, or did it burn down or something like that? So that is also very nice to know that
Yeah,
a
that's
lot
very
of
sweet.
people have emigrated, but now their grandchildren are coming back to see where they used to come from.
Yeah.
May I add something about
Please
different
do.
cultures? Because, well, of course, I've seen a lot of groups over the years, and the nicest or most interesting groups were maybe the ones with a lot of nationalities. So you start with well, I've always been sailing on the smaller boats, because in my days there were no boats that took 40 or 50 or 60 people. It was always 20, 24. So you start with 24 strangers, and sometimes from 5 or 6 different countries and different cultures. And in the beginning, the guests are, well, like, I want to sit with people that speak my language, and they they look at each other, a bit unsure, and then after a while, it starts melting, and after a week, you see 5 different cultures parting as friends, and coming back the next year because they want to travel together again. So that's one of the most, well, amazing things of the job we do.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
really, really nice. And then the language barrier isn't a problem anymore towards the end?
No, not really, not really. Of course, the crew, the captain, the tour leaders, they have a very important role in that, because they have to, well, make sure that everybody feels at home and taken care of and having the attention they want to have. But in the end, it's not a problem. Everybody can talk with hand and feet.
So what did you do to help them a little bit with warming up?
Well, as I said, giving everybody the attention they need. I mean, if you have, let's say, English-speaking people, German-speaking people, and French-speaking people, you need to have a guide, a tour leader, or one of the crew members that also speaks a bit of French. Because if you don't speak French, the French people, well, sometimes they can manage in English, but they will feel really at home if you try, and if you give them the best of your French. And well, then in the end, it's not that important anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Esther, do you do something special to help them warm up?
What I do sometimes is that in the beginning, you give a welcome speech, you give some instructions, but I always try to fit in some time to be able to get to know each other. So just, have everyone to tell your name, tell where you come from, why are you here on this tour? And especially the question, why are you here on this tour? That really makes a connection because everyone has a kind of same reason that they want to visit, that they want to join the bike tour. So that makes the people coming together. And what I also like to introduce during the tour depends a little bit about the bike skills of the group, but that is the corner system. And the corner system is that the person who bikes just right behind me, I put in a corner at the moment that I turn a corner. And he needs to point out in which direction I went to the whole group until he sees the last person. And then he needs to join the group, of course. He doesn't need to stay in the corner forever because we want him also back at the boat.
Would be nice.
But by doing that, he is helping the whole group and everyone is waving. And yes, I see you. And so you also make a connection. And the good thing of that is that nobody bikes the whole time in the same number. So I don't have every time the same person behind me. I have every time a new person behind me. So that gives me also the opportunity to speak to everyone, although it can be a small chit chat. But that also makes that everybody is involved and everybody gets to know each other.
Yeah, that's a great system.
And in this system, you also need a sweep.
Yes.
Tell Annie what a sweep is.
Do you know what a sweep is?
I do, but maybe the listeners do not know.
Well, sometimes we have big bike groups who are biking behind me, and then it's for me very handy to have one person who is always biking in the back. So that one gets a yellow vest and a walkie-talkie, so we can communicate with each other. So if there is a gap that I haven't seen, then the sweep can warn me. And the last of the person who's standing in the corner, he needs to wait until he sees the sweep, and then he can join the group. So it's very, very handy and always very helpful for us because then we don't have to count every time all the heads. We just see, the sweep, I see him, so everyone is with me.
Yeah.
And we can move on.
It's so funny because I did a tour myself in Greece last year and we did the same system, not only with the sweep, but also the corner system.
Yeah.
It's very good. And also for like talking to other people then or getting out of your small circle to connect more with other guests. It's a great system.
Yeah, I love it.
And then how do you have to adjust your guiding style depending on the group? So sometimes there are families, not often, but sometimes there are, or then semi-guided tours work differently from the fully guided tours. Are there big differences per departure?
Well, I think there's a big difference between semi-guided and fully guided tours because the semi-guided tours, they go on their own. In the evening, you give a presentation so that they know what they can expect during the trip. But then in the morning, we wave to them and we wish them a nice day. And they have my telephone number, so in case there is any problem, then they can call me. But during the day, they are on their own. But the fully guided tours, they are the whole day behind me. So you really get to know them, and as you are cycling the whole week with each other, you really get to know each other. So it's not only small talk, but during a week, people also would like to know something about your private life, and you also get to know something from their private life. So, that's really interesting to make a connection with your guests.
And if there are bigger groups booked, but also individual bookings, do those guests mix with each other also, or do the groups usually stay together?
We always try to make one big group um, during a whole week. So if there are smaller groups on the boat that know each other, then we also try to mix them up with the other people. But it really depends on the group if they are open to that, because sometimes you have a blocked group, or for example, last year I had in summertime I had a group with quite a few children, and that were Spanish speaking children. So it's very difficult for them to speak other languages. So for them it was a bit difficult to mix up with each other. But luckily, we had another family with 4 children, and the children, they were more or less from the same age. So you saw that the boys were starting to cycle together, and the girls were cycling together, and even if they didn't understand each other, they were playing with each other, and it was so nice to see.
That's heartwarming.
Yeah.
And I think that's easier with children than with adults.
Absolutely. Children
Because-
are more open.
Yeah, and they were just fighting who was going to cycle right behind the guides. And then I had to say, come on, now it's on a different dangerous place. You have to cycle one behind each other. But it was really nice that they could meet up with each other. They could play with each other. So
Yeah.
there's always a possibility.
And what you both would say are the key strengths that a tour guide must have?
A tour guide must be a social person. You must be curious about people, and you have to be able to manage a group, because, well, of course, it's not always just fun and easy. Sometimes there are difficult people in the group, and you have to manage that as well. Then, of course, you have to know your way around in the country where you cycle. You have to have a little knowledge about the bike, because you have to do little repairs along the way. But I think the most important is the social part of the job. Yeah, manage the group.
Yeah, I agree. You have to be helpful, willing to help. You know, I also do like short walking tours from 2 hours, and that you can maybe fake that you are really a nice person and that you're happy. But if you are a whole week biking with a group, that is impossible to fake that you are willing to help people. It has to be really inside of you that you enjoy being with strangers, and that you would like to know them, and that you want them to give the best holiday ever. That is really something that you do from the moment that you wake up until the moment that you go to bed, because you also sleep on the boat. It's not a job from 9 to 5.
Yeah.
In the evenings, we also do a lot of walking tours. You drink a beer or a Coca-Cola with someone on the bar after the working's done. So it's really something.
Yeah. So you need a big social battery for that job.
Exactly.
And that's the nice thing about being a captain on the boat. In the morning, the guests leave with the tour leaders, and there's peace and quiet. And you just everybody does that job. You start sailing, you look out of the window, and you see the beautiful scenery of the Netherlands, or wherever you are, pass by. And then somewhere during the afternoon, the group comes back, and you're fully, how do you say that? You're ready to give all your attention again to the guests. Yeah. So I like my job really a lot. So being a tour leader not for me. Then people want to stop to get a coat off, and then they want to stop to get a coat on, and then they too much. So I really admire the tour leaders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a funny story, optimist, a funny sentence, coat on, coat off. You know, in the Netherlands, it rains quite a lot.
Yeah.
And yeah, sometimes we just have a few drops. And when a few drops are falling, I don't need to put my raincoat on. But yeah, some people, they aren't used to rain and they have putting their hair very beautiful, and then there are a few drops, and it's like, stop, stop, stop. I need to put my...
And then the entire group has to stop.
Yes,
Wow.
yes, but you see that quite a lot of people put their raincoat on, but also their pants and everything. And then I think, well, maybe if I look to the sky, there's only one cloud. In 10 minutes, it will be dry again, and it's quite warm, so you will not even really get wet, you know? So, yeah, that is funny that those kind of things are happening. But, yeah,
So
we
you-
just have to deal with it.
Yeah, you have to be really patient. Yeah.
Yeah. That's also something. You have to be patient.
Oh, I can imagine that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what are other challenges besides the code on, code off?
Well, some people can bike pretty well, and some people haven't seen a bicycle never in their life, or they did biking on a home trainer. And then when they come and they do the bike fitting and they do a little test round, and they warn me that their steering wheel is loose.
Oh.
And then you think, oh, I just checked all the bicycles and they should be fine. So you take that bicycle and you bike yourself. And then, yeah, of course, the steering wheel is kind of loose because you have to make turns, you know. But if you bike your whole life only on a home trainer, then it is not loose. So those kind of things are kind of challenging because you don't know how fast they adapt in the traffic. Because, you know, in the Netherlands, in Belgium, but also in France and other countries, we always bike through the regular traffic. There are bicycle lanes, of course, but, you know, sometimes you have to cycle next to cars and there is no separate bicycle lane, or you have to cross traffic. And
and when you practice on a home trainer, there are no bikes next to you or no cars.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And yeah, you have to.
And about bike tours, well, I've been in the business for a long time, as I told you. All those years we've been trying to get the message to the guests. You have to be able to bike. You are in real traffic. You have to be able to get on and off a bike quite easily. But it's really difficult you are working at marketing now. It's really difficult to get that into people's mind. And it's clear on the website what they have to be capable of, but still people book that only do a few hours on a
Home trainer.
home trainer, that's the word.
Against the sore butt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a story about that. One time I was sailing from Bruges to Amsterdam, and then we normally sail out of Bruges for an hour, and the tour guide does a little introduction, and then we stop outside Bruges, and the bikes go on the shore, people go on the shore, and they start biking for a while to, another place, 15 kilometers further on. And I always am at the shore as well to help people fit the bike and get ready and whatever, we walk around. And then there was one lady, and she was the one that just did the home trainer thing. So she stepped on a bike, but the bike was not moving. So if you're not moving and you step on a bike, you fall over. So she fell, and she hurt her hand. There were little stones in her hand, so she decided to stay on board. The rest of the group left, And then during the sailing, it hurt more and more. So I stopped somewhere or organized a taxi to bring her to the first aid in the hospital in Ghent. And when we arrived in Ghent, she was standing there with 2 hands in plaster because she broke both her wrists.
On the first day.
On the first day.
Oh no.
So she had to go home because she couldn't stay on the boat. She couldn't do anything. She couldn't dress and undress. And
That's so sad. If you
So-
book a vacation like that and then...
so practice before you come.
Yes, that's a good message. And also, we're coming to the end of this episode. I think we learned a lot about the challenges of tour guiding, but also the advantages of it. So thank you so much for joining the podcast. And we always ask our guests an FAQ that we often get. And the FAQ for this episode is, how do unguided tours work? You mentioned it already a little, Esther, but it's can you explain more about which information they get if there is no guide guiding them?
Yes, of course I can. So the semi-guided does actually mean that there is a guide. The guide is the whole week on the boat, and also when you are biking, a guide is biking as well, because sometimes boat is sailing, and if you have a flat tire and you need a guide, then it's handy that he is already somewhere on a bicycle. In the evenings, we always do a briefing. Then you get instructions about the route, what you're gonna see. We do have a Ride with GPS. It's an app system that is very handy because you can follow the route that way. But there is also a paper version. In the Netherlands, we do have a junction point system. And you can follow just the numbers on your paper on your track. And we just point out during the briefing on which junction point you have to stop, you have to make a photo, or where you have to cross a canal with a ferry or something like that. So that you are prepared, so that you know what you are going to face during the day of biking, and where can I have lunch, or what is a nice spot. And then in the evening or in the afternoon, the guide is back on the boat, and we will help you to store your bikes on the boat, and you can have a nice drink at the hotel bar or the boat bar.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And if our viewers have more questions, you can just check out our website, boatbiketours.com, or contact us. And thank you for listening to this episode. Hope to see you next time.